All right, so before I begin, there is literally so much that happened in this episode, so hopefully I get it all because I feel like I'm going to miss one thing that's going to become important down the line. So, if I do, you can let me know in the comments. Obviously, it's always appreciated if I miss something. You guys let me know down below. So we start out before the intro, and the three of them are in. The three Don brothers are in the cafeteria. The cafe. Wondering, if Toro died and whatnot. Did he actually lose this battle? And they're thinking, there's no way. It's Toro. Then we jump to the Sixth Ranger who we saw at the end of last week pick up Toro, and he took him under a bridge is what we found out. I thought he would take him right to the cafe, or I don't know where else. I was hoping they would have some what was it last week? What did I say? I think it was some council. I said I was like, oh yeah, let's do a secret council that only the Sixth Ranger knows about. Take him there, but no, I just took him under a bridge, and then we go after the intro. We go to the Cerebrians, and they're confused. Hey, Sonai took down Don Red. What? That makes no sense. I don't know. How does that happen? And then they're being called companions, and they're like, don't call us that. We're not companions here. So he's like, okay, bet I'm gonna make you my companions, and they start fighting, and he basically says, I'm gonna be the dominant one here. I'm the leader, and just beats him up in 5 seconds. And then the Don Purple, the sword, flies away, and we end up following the sword as they're submitting and whatnot. And the sword goes to where Toro is, where the Sixth Ranger is, where he's lying, basically dying. I don't remember what the kill count is. I started a kill count, and then I stopped it, and then I forgot about it because there was 10 episodes where he didn't die, and I forgot about that, and that's 2.5 months essentially, something like that. And so it's 2.5 months later, I forget where we're at, but I guess he didn't technically die this episode, so I don't have to add a counter. I think what I'm gonna do is I might go through all my videos, find the recent one where he died, and then just put a counter on my phone or something, just so I remember in case he does die again. So Don Purple is being told by the mother hey, finish off Don Red. This is your chance. And so then we get the he's the Sixth Ranger in his the tiger form. I forget what it's called, but basically the tiger form, the demon inside of him. And he's like, this one's my prey when he heals up. And so they start fighting it out, and they do essentially their special moves, their finishers, and they collide, and they basically weaken each other to the point where the Sixth Ranger, the Tiger's like, hey, I gotta go to Kaito because I have no idea what else to do here, because all he can think of to do is just put some water. He rips off a part of his clothing. And just put some water on it and lets his cool his head down essentially. So it takes it off, and they go to Kaito and says, here, fix him. And so Kaito's like, okay, let's put him on the operating table. And so then he gets up in a full gown, transforms into Zenkaiger, or Black Zenkaiger, whatever you want to call it. And he was about to start operating when the three Don brothers come back, and they're like, where's the boss? He should be here. And so he kind of comes out in the full gown, untransformed, back into human Kaito, and is like, okay, well, I'm trying to do some surgery here, so I'm going to close up the shop early. And the Don brothers are like, hey, we got called to meet the Cerebrians, and we decided to meet them here at the cafe. So Kaito's like, okay, fine, well, do your thing. I'm gonna go do my thing. He never, I guess, officially closes up, but I assume he closed up the shop and just kind of let them sit there, because the Cerebrians pop up 5 seconds later, obviously. So I feel like something like that, you could just close up the shop either way. So then he goes back, starts operating, while the 6 of them are, at this table in the cafe, and Sonai's like, hey, I'm gonna be blunt here. I killed Don Red. I want you to be my companions. And the, three of them are like, well, what? Like, no, that's Toro can't die. Like, what are you talking about? So they settle on doing a game, picking a game to do. And, they were like, okay, well, first they decided, okay, well, let's just fight it out. Like, let's just screw a game. Let's just fight it out. And then, Sonai's like, no, like, it's easy to figure out the outcome. Like, you guys are going to win easily. You guys, or, the Cerebrians are going to win easily. And, there's nothing else that, they can do. They'll become the companions right away. And they want it to be more interesting. Or Sonai wants it to be more interesting, essentially. And so I think... Was it Don Pink recommended cards? I think Don Pink recommended cards, and the Evil White Ranger shoots it down and says, no, too tedious, or whatever she said. And so they decide on 3 random games, and the first game is shoot a peanut into a person's mouth, or someone on your team's mouth. And Sonai's like, okay, well, if one of you DonBrothers catches it, I'll answer one of your questions. He does the first one for the Evil Orange Ranger, Evil Brown Ranger, whatever. I still have not looked that up. I'm pretty sure it's orange. And, it does it kind of easy, just a flick, and just kind of, does it easy. And then Don Blue steps up, like, okay, like, I got you. I'm going to do this. I'll make it easily. And so he winds up and does this whole baseball pitch thing. And then we see this little platform, kind of like mini trampolines, I guess is what's the best way to call them. I thought pinball. I immediately thought pinball. And so Don Blue's like, hey, like, I expected this, transforms, jumps through a gate, a door, whatever you want to call it, catches it in his mouth as it's bouncing around the cafe in the air. And so we find out, apparently, a former Cerebrian royal family made the DonBrother the weapons that they use. And then that became the DonBrothers. The family became the DonBrothers, and then it kind of like split off. So I'm hoping we get more about this, because all they said is the former former royal family made the thing. They made the weapons. They became the Don clan, and that's essentially it. So they're connected now. Now we know they're officially connected. But then they split off. Apparently, that's what I got from it. They kind of split off into the Cerebrians and then the Don clan. So. That was interesting. So then we get to the second game, and no, Don Pink, did he recommend? Oh no, he recommended the cards. Yeah. So and then he recommends the quiet game, basically the silent game, the quiet game. And so they're like, okay, that's fine, we'll do that. And not even 5 seconds in, was it Don Yellow loses, and then they start another round. Then 5 seconds in again, Don Blue loses, and they start again. So we're 3 rounds in, 10 seconds in, we're in the 3rd round already. I don't know. What are we, 5-year-old kids? Like, what? You lose in 5 seconds. Now, again, technically, Don Yellow did lose. She sneezed and whatnot, so I guess, I give her that. But Don Blue is like, I don't want to do this anymore, and he just gets, they all point at him, to know, like, hey, you lost. And it's just like, seriously, dude? Like, you just started round 2. You couldn't have said something before, and they'd start the game, and then you speak. Like, come on, man. So they get to the 3rd round. No one's talking and whatnot. And so Kaito finishes up the procedure, comes out, kind of sits in his normal spot behind the counter. And so Sonai goes up to him and just makes a square. Like, hey, I need a square. So Kaito realizes, like, hey, like, he wants a notepad, gives a notepad. Sonai writes down, like, hey, let's end this. Let's go on to the next game. So like, okay, they're all like sighing, like, oh my god, like it wasn't even 5 minutes you were quiet, like, like this is 5 minutes in showtime. Well, like, I guess showtime it'd be like 5 minutes. And it was really like, it was like 5-10 minutes in like, the actual length of the episode time. So in reality, like, it's just wasn't that long that they were not quiet for, or that they were quiet for. So then they decide, Kaito kind of decides at 3rd game of, hey, let's have an eating competition. And so he gives them all this food, and then he ducks under the counter, transforms into Zenkaiger, pulls out these 6 glasses, and I guess his, like, eyesight when he's transformed kind of works the same way as the glasses, because he can see things like the energy coming off the people. So he siphons the energy off of all 6 of them takes it to Don Red. And I feel if this guy had to chug all 6, obviously they didn't show all 6, but they put this what is it called? The funnel. They put a funnel in the guy's mouth, in Don Red's mouth. And if this guy had to do all 6, and again they only showed like 2 or 3 on camera, but Kaito was dumping it down. So I feel so bad if this guy had to chug all 6, and they just like, okay, we're gonna cut this one out, cut that one out, and just put up 2 or 3. So because that does not look fun. Just swallow and swallow. So then Kaito lets Don Red be on the table, kind of try to gain his strength back and whatnot. Goes back out there to kind of, watch him finish and whatnot. And Don Pink's like, I can't do this anymore. I'm full. So he was the last Don brother to lose. And so they're officially a part of the Cerebrian clan for all of 5 seconds. Because immediately they're like, why are we, the reserves? Because the other 2 Cerebrians are like, hey, like we're the main force here. Like you guys are second in command. You're the reserves and whatnot. So they start arguing about that. And so Sonai's like, okay, well, Cerebrians can't transform into the Hikachi, whatever, I forget, whatever the monster of the week's essentially. And so they're like, okay, well, if you can fend off the greed and whatnot, I'll let you be part of the main force. So he just, blinks, his eyes turn red, and he is able to transform them into the monsters of the week. And so they're all transforming. They do this like little, basically I think it's the Sun Vulcan pose. Or no, Sun Vulcan. Is that the show name? No, is that the Red? God, I don't remember. I never watched the show. I obviously know about, basically, the suits and whatnot. I think is it Sun Vulcan? Maybe it's not. I don't know what the actual show name is. But basically, it's based off of that. It's 3 of them as suns, essentially, or parts of a sun. And all of a sudden, Toro pops up. It's like, hey, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you their companion? You're my companions, not theirs. Like, what are you doing? And so Don Blue, Don Yellow transform back and like basically beat the greed. And Don Pink, yet again, is not able to. So this is the 2nd time in the series where he's not able to. So he starts screaming, Mio, 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 Mio. It just runs through a gate, runs through a door. They go outside into this mountainy area is the best way to describe it, and start fighting. And Don Pink, in the Monster of the Week, it does this big sun attack, which again, it's Sun Vulcan or the whatever the series is called. I don't remember. I'm gonna pull it up real quick. And does this sun attack and fires it at them and basically knocks them all down. Burning hot, and then he does this. I think it was like a sword he used or his hand, it knocks him down again and whatnot, and it is Sun Vulcan. I was right. It is Sun Vulcan. Okay. I didn't know if I was right or not. It is. So then it, knocks him down again, and Don Blue's like, oh my god, like this guy's real tough now. Like the difficulty's really jumped up here. And Toro stands up, like, ha, that's nothing. It's like, hey, all that energy you guys gave me, I was able to unlock a brand new power. So he whistles and summons a phoenix. He did mention it like before he transformed too, because obviously Sonai and him kind of stared at each other. Sonai's like what the heck? And basically Toro kind of calls himself immortal and goes, I'm like a phoenix, essentially is what he says. So he did kind of foreshadow it seconds before he transformed. But again, later, then we get to the fight and whatnot. He calls the Phoenix, which is, it's actually kind of a cool little toy. Folds it up, puts it on top of his blaster, transforms, and it was basically kind of like a Lupin Ranger power-up. Now, I never officially saw the whole Lupin Ranger series, but if you've seen the power-ups and whatnot, essentially just covers, like, the shoulders and then the head. And it's essentially that. It's just, this is all gold, and it's not an airplane like the Lupin. It's a Phoenix, essentially. So, we're going with basically like a top half super suit, essentially, which I feel like, did they do it like every other season? I feel like they've done it recently, like every other season. I'm more of a fan, personally, of like when the whole body, like one that just literally just came to mind was like the Ghost Sagers, where, they got like gold ankles, stuff on their ankles and whatnot. and you know it kind of covered like the whole body with a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, I like stuff like that where you kind of like see like whole differences. Now I feel so bad for Sonai because you know he's obviously watching on with this fight and whatnot, and he got a freaking chest plate, man. Don Red gets this whole upper body thing, and Sonai gets the chest plate. Now the chest plate is like Iron Man and just you know can fire chest beams and whatnot. But come on, man. I was complaining about this last week too. So you know anyway, back to the fight. Don Red beats him up. It's not a one shots him, but you know, essentially just blasts him and just pew, 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 pew. And just kind of keeps firing and whatnot. Kills a bunch of the minions that are there with him too. And you know, saves Dom Pink for the second time. You know, he says before the fight, he says, "I'll do you know as many times as it takes to you know." Turn you back to normal, essentially. So he doesn't care if his you know friends do become the you know monster of the week. He'll always protect them and make sure you know they're back to the human form. So again, that wraps it up. I guess I could talk. I mean, real quick, the side story here is that Don Black is kind of following Natsumi, and kind of follows her down the same path. They just kind of seen her before, so essentially stalking her. Like he's flat out stalking her. So you know, follows her. They get to the hairstylist place, you know, the hair cutter place, whatever you want to call it. And just says, hey, like, can Natsumi cut my hair? Or what? We don't see what he says, but you know, essentially Natsumi is cutting his hair. And so we're going more in the story of that. And supposedly, again, this just happened. Was it 2 or 3 episodes again? Where they made it seem like Dom Pink and Don Black were in a fight. Again, they kind of tease that again here of, hey, like, these two are going to get into a confrontation here. So we'll see if that's actually going to happen next week or not. Yeah, this like I'm not really hyped for next week. Like the trailer didn't really go like, oh, this looks like amazing. Like obviously, like when you have a super suit and you like tease the super suit, like yeah, okay, I want to see that episode. But the fact that again we've had it teased, like we've had this fight teased before. We've had the fact that hey, like is Don Black gonna expose himself to the whole gang? We've had this whole thing kind of repetitively done every once in a while before, and it's just never happened. So like it's I'm to a point, me personally, where it's like okay, well, we're just gonna have some trick. It's gonna be some other guy or something like that that's gonna fight Don Pink, or vice versa, that Don Black fights. I mean, we do see like Don Black does hug Natsumi, Mio, whatever you want to call her, even though she is a bestial, so she's not really human. But I don't know. We'll get to it when we get into it. So for now, like the video, share the video on, don't forget to subscribe, and I'm out of here. Peace.